Thanks for staying with us. Welcome back. You're watching WION What Is One, and this is World DNA with me, Jyotsna Kumar. Let's begin with the headlines. Russian Shahed drone strike on Zaporizhzhia kills 2 people and injures 17 others. The attack damages apartment buildings and prompts emergency evacuations as firefighters work to control fires. Iran is holding 6 days of funeral ceremonies for former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, with authorities expecting up to 15 to 20 million mourners in Tehran. Tight security is in place as his body lies in state at the Grand Masala complex until Monday. Baloch Liberation Army claims responsibility for suicide attack on Pakistan Coast Guard camp in Gwadr's Jawani area. The group says its Majid Brigade carries out attack using vehicle-borne bomber, claiming over 30 personnel killed. Syrian authorities start prosecuting suspects over deadly violence in Sueda province last year. The clashes between Druze factions, Bedouin fighters, and security forces raised concerns about new government's handling of sectarian tensions. Venezuela's twin earthquakes killed 2,645 people and injure more than 12,600. Thousands remain missing after the June 24th quakes, which devastated the coastal La Guaira region near Caracas. Ebola outbreak in Democratic Republic of Congo kills 438 people out of 1,406 confirmed cases since 15th of May. With a fatality rate of just over 31%, outbreak centered in Ituri province is spreading, including a first case in Kisangani city. China's BYD has regained its position as the world's leading electric vehicle maker, overtaking Tesla in global sales. The milestone highlights intensifying competition in the EV market as Chinese automakers continue to expand worldwide. Taylor Swift and NFL star Travis Kelce officially marry in a highly secretive celebrity field ceremony in New York. Announcement comes during an event at Madison Square Garden where screens displayed "Just Married." Argentina defeat Cape Verde 3-2 after extra time in a dramatic match to reach the World Cup last 16. An own goal in the 111th minute decide the game, sending Argentina through to face Egypt. Now, escalating its campaign inside Ukraine, Russia has launched a strike on the southeastern city of Zaporizhzhia, killing at least 2 people and leaving around 20 others injured. Local authorities say the attack sparked a fire in a 9-story residential building. Emergency workers were seen evacuating residents from a damaged apartment building, some being carried as firefighters continue to extinguish flames. The International Atomic Energy Agency also reported that the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant temporarily lost external power following military activity in the area, renewing concerns over nuclear safety. Now, Russia also launched a barrage of drones and missiles on the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, in the early hours of Thursday. According to reports, at least 30 people were killed and around 130 buildings were damaged as multiple explosions shook the city overnight. The Ukrainian Red Cross said its humanitarian warehouses in Kiev was destroyed, resulting in the loss of 320,000 relief items. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin claimed Russian forces had captured the strategic eastern city of Konstantinivka in Donetsk region, a claim Ukraine has not confirmed.
The more strikes the enemy attempts to carry out against our civilian facilities, the more we will. And of course, we have to do everything necessary to protect those facilities and civilians, and we will. But the more such attempts the enemy makes, the larger the security zone we will have to create in the adjacent territory.
Inside Russia, long queues formed at petrol stations as fuel shortages linked to repeated Ukrainian strikes on energy infrastructure and disrupted supplies. While some petrol stations reported certain grades of fuel available and others temporarily closed. Now, the future of the transatlantic alliance is once again under the spotlight, just days before the NATO summit in Ankara. U.S. President Donald Trump has reignited his long-standing criticism of NATO, accusing America's allies of failing to pay their fair share for collective defense. His latest remarks come after he threatened to scale back or withdraw U.S. troops from the countries such as Germany, Italy, and Spain over defense spending, as well as their role in the Iran war, raising fresh questions about Washington's commitment to its allies. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said the United States spent $999 billion to protect NATO while receiving very little in return. Now, Trump described America's relationship with the alliance as one-sided and wrote they were not there for us and claimed that Washington's relationship with NATO is not reciprocal. His post came less than a week before the NATO summit in Ankara, where leaders of the alliance's 32 member states will meet from 7th to 8th of July. Trump also shared a comparison chart of NATO defense spending, claiming the United States invests far more than any other member. In another Truth Social post, Trump stated, the United States spends more money on NATO than any other country by far to protect them without getting any benefit for so doing. Well, so how accurate is Trump's claim? Well, the United States does spend more on defense than any other NATO member. And according to the NATO Secretary General's annual report, NATO members spent a combined $1.4 trillion on defense in 2025, with the United States accounting for about 60% of that total. The report also says European allies and Canada increased their defense spending by about 20% in 2025, taking their combined expenditure to $574 billion, the largest annual increase in NATO's history. Now, reacting to Trump's comments, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said Berlin does not have to shy away from taking up its record on defense spending.
Germany has doubled its defense budget within 4 years. This is the greatest effort we have ever made to strengthen our defensive capabilities. In that respect, we have nothing to be ashamed of here, and will also mention this in all due modesty.
NATO is heavily dependent on American support, both in terms of manpower and arms. According to data from The Guardian, the United States operates 276 military bases across Europe, and of these, 122 are in Germany, 47 are in Italy, and 5 are in Spain. As of December 2025, according to a Pentagon overview, the United States had more than 36,000 troops in Germany, around 12,000 in Italy, and about 3,800 in Spain. Well, for now, all eyes are now on the upcoming NATO summit in Turkey. And moving on, French far-right leader Jordan Bardella's relationship with Italian Princess Maria Carolina is emerging as an awkward distraction for the politician. especially when he has built his appeal on discipline, restraint, and a polished working class image. The leading figure of France's National Rally Party often speaks for ordinary voters, and he is now being seen alongside someone from a very privileged European background. What might have stayed as gossip has turned into a political talking point. The relationship moved into the spotlight in April when the pair appeared together on the front page of a Paris match. The Italian princess, Maria Carolina de Sicilies, is now often described as possible future First Lady of France. But despite the controversy, there has been no clear damage to his electoral position. Polls still show him as a strong contender ahead of the 2027 presidential election. But in some surveys, he remains as a front-runner in the first round and competitive in potential runoffs against centrist candidates. While still, the pressure around his personal life is expected to grow. That is especially true if he becomes the official presidential candidate of the National Rally. Now, that decision is not fully in his hands yet. Actually, it depends heavily on President of National Rally Party, Marine Le Pen's legal situation. She is currently appealing a 5-year ban from running for office, and a key decision is expected on 7th of July. Now, if the ruling goes against her, Bardella could become the party's main presidential candidate. And if that happens, his private life will no longer remain on the margins of political discussion. Everything around him will be likely examined more closely, including the image created by his relationship.
Monsieur Bardella.
And India is giving a massive push to its military modernization. The Defense Acquisition Council, chaired by Defense Minister Rajnath Singh in New Delhi, has cleared defense procurement proposals worth 52,000 crore rupees with a focus on next-generation weapons, drones, missiles, and surveillance systems. And this is for the Army, Navy, and Air Force. From anti-drone warfare to kamikaze drones, and from advanced missiles to high-altitude surveillance platforms, India's armed forces are set for a major capability boost. The Defense Acquisition Council has granted acceptance of necessity, or in principle, approval for defense acquisitions worth nearly 52,000 crore rupees. Now, for the Indian Army, the approved systems include the Akash Sarang anti-UAV electronic warfare system, man-portable anti-tank guided missiles, medium-range surface-to-air missiles, very short-range air defense systems, active protection systems for tanks, and jet-based kamikaze drones. The Indian Navy will receive multi-influence ground mines to strengthen sea denial capabilities, naval shipborne unmanned aerial systems for better maritime surveillance, and a dedicated land-based testing facility to support future electric propulsion technologies. And for the Indian Air Force, the biggest addition is the fixed-wing high-altitude pseudo-satellite designed to provide persistent intelligence surveillance, reconnaissance, telecommunications, and remote sensing over extended durations. Now, these systems are expected to strengthen India's ability to counter hostile drones, destroy enemy armor, improve air defense, enhance tank survivability, and boost electronic warfare capabilities. And with these approvals, India is signaling a strong push towards indigenous next-generation military technologies and also enhancing preparedness across land, sea, and air while sharpening its combat edge against evolving threats. Well, for decades, governments dictated the rules of business, but today some of the world's largest technology companies are powerful enough to challenge entire nations. So why has the conflict become so intense? Is it about protecting consumers or about who controls the world's most valuable digital economy? Now, here's the big picture. Take a look at in this next report.
Big tech is no longer just a collection of successful companies. Together, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Alphabet, Amazon and Meta are collectively worth well over $20 trillion. An economic footprint larger than the annual GDP of almost every country except the United States and China. That financial power translates into something even more valuable: control over digital infrastructure. Smartphones, search engines, cloud computing, digital advertising, online payments, and app stores have become essential infrastructure for modern economies. This is why governments increasingly view these firms not merely as businesses, but as private gatekeepers controlling access to markets, consumers, and even information. Flashpoints are emerging in key hubs. In India, Apple is fighting an antitrust investigation into alleged abuse of its App Store policies. Apple argues India's competition regulator relied too heavily on complaints from rivals rather than conducting an independent investigation. The case comes at a sensitive time, with India rapidly becoming Apple's largest manufacturing hub outside China and expected to produce roughly 1/4 of global iPhones this year. South Korea has opened another front. The country's Fair Trade Commission has accused Google of using financial incentives to encourage game developers to prioritize Google Play over rival app stores. Regulators estimate that the alleged conduct affected more than 14 trillion won in revenue and could expose Google to significant penalties if violations are confirmed. Europe remains the most aggressive regulator. The European Union has imposed landmark penalties on Apple and Meta under its Digital Markets Act, while continuing investigations into Google's market practices. Australia has forced Google and Meta to negotiate with news publishers. Canada has pursued digital taxation, prompting trade tensions with the United States. Even Japan and the UK are strengthening digital competition laws. The pattern is becoming global. Countries are no longer targeting individual products, they're challenging the business models that made big tech dominant.
My message to big tech is this: we are not stopping. Every effort you make to frustrate these laws will be met with our efforts to make these laws work. Today, we are giving the E-Safety Commissioner more robust powers to investigate your conduct, and we are ramping up fines to $99 million. If the E-Safety Commissioner finds companies are not doing everything they can to comply, they will face the full force of the law.
Behind every legal battle lies a much bigger economic question: who captures value in the digital economy? From governments, the concerns are competition, tax revenues, national sovereignty, consumer choice, and control over strategic technologies. For big tech, every country represents more than just users. It represents data, advertising revenue, developer ecosystems, cloud demand, AI deployment, and long-term market dominance. Losing regulatory control in one major economy often creates a global precedent, forcing companies to change products worldwide. That explains why these companies fight so aggressively, even in markets where their revenue share is relatively small. If India successfully forces changes to Apple's App Store or South Korea reshapes Google's Play Store practices, regulators elsewhere may demand similar concessions. The struggle is no longer simply governments regulating business. It is becoming a contest over who writes the rules of the global digital economy. And as AI becomes the next economic engine, this battle is only expected to intensify. Business Bureau WION, World is One.
All right, moving on. It's the first weekend of July and theaters are already buzzing with the best of animated films. At a time when family-friendly animated films are witnessing its best of days, families have plenty to cheer about at the theaters this season. 3 animated blockbusters are drawing crowds of all ages. Minions and Monsters, which released on 2nd of July, sends fan favorite Minions James and Henry back to the 1920s film industry. When they cannot adapt to the arrival of sound film, the pair tries to make their own monster movie but end up summoning real monstrous creatures using a spell book, unleashing chaos along the way. Directed by Pierre Coffin, the film promises bigger scares and bigger laughs. Screen Rant.
Yes, I'm free! I'm free! Non, les pica monstra!
Meanwhile, Toy Story 5 continues to pack theaters. It has been ranked among this year's top family releases. This installment comes with added star power. An original song by Taylor Swift track, I Knew It, I Knew You, shattered streaming records on release and has kept the buzz around the film going strong. Swift herself is having a big year off screen too. She and NFL star Travis Kelce tied the knot in a high-profile wedding at Madison Square, New York. And even that's been drawing worldwide attention of its own. And then the Super Mario Galaxy movie remains one of 2026's biggest hits. It has become the first release of 2026 to score the $1 billion mark. In 2023 installment of the movie also crossed the $1 billion threshold, and for both the Mario film series crossed $2 billion at the box office. It has become the first film franchise to reach that milestone. And defending champions Argentina are through to the FIFA World Cup round of 16, but not without one of the biggest scares of the tournament. Tournament debutants Cape Verde pushed Lionel Messi and company to the brink, taking the match into extra time before an unfortunate own goal finally ended the Blue Sharks' dream. Argentina survived a stunning challenge from World Cup newcomers Cape Verde, edging a thrilling last 16 clash 3-2 after extra time in Miami. Lionel Messi opened the scoring with another moment with his 20th World Cup goal and 7th of the tournament. The Cape Verde refused to be overawed. Leroy Duarte leveled the scores just after the hour mark, exposing rare cracks in the Argentine defense and forcing the defending champions into a grueling battle. Lisandro Martinez restored Argentina's lead early in extra time, only for Sidney Lopez Cabral to produce one of the goals of the tournament, an unstoppable strike into the top corner that reignited Cape Verde's incredible dream. With penalties looming, Argentina finally found the breakthrough from a Messi corner. Cristian Romero's header took a decisive deflection off Dine Borges and crossed the line for the winning goal. And during a heroic Cape Verde resistance, making their first ever World Cup appearance, the Blue Sharks had already turned heads by reaching the knockout stage. And they once again proved they belonged on football's biggest stage. Fearless, disciplined and relentless, Cape Verde had the world champions under pressure for more than 120 minutes and came within touching distance of one of the greatest upsets in the World Cup history. Argentina, meanwhile, now face Egypt in the round of 16. Just a reminder to our viewers in India, you can watch all 2026 FIFA World Cup matches on Z5. Tune in and catch all the action. All right, with that, we call a wrap to World DNA for today. News and updates will follow on the other side. We leave you with some pictures that have been drawing attention from across the world. Thanks for joining in. Stay tuned.
first half of 2026 comes to an end, we look at the role of animation and the rise of anti-romance films. Know all about the big-ticket releases lined up for the next 6 months and meet actor Mayank Chang as he discusses his Indian-Chinese roots. All this and much more with me, Rhythm Sharma, on WION E-Club at these times.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one.
Where darkness hides behind every corner. Where the truth is stranger than fiction. A show that dives deep into the stories which shock and mystify. Unsolved murders. Psychopaths who defy explanation. International war crimes. And millions swindled in financial fraud. The victims, the accused, and the sinister plot. Crime is your front row seat to darkness. In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION. World is one.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. Get the latest updates. Breaking news. Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is one.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION World is One with me, Diksha Bisla. Let's start with the headlines. Mumbai is experiencing severe monsoon rains causing flooding.